Say, isn't she pretty? That ship called Midnight. Now I'm telling this story in a faraway sea, sipping down right here, everything may not be, and I'm thinking about home, getting all that I need. In a place in the winter for dignity. Oh, love it now.
Right, come on, you do know that.
And forward, 2, 3, something reverse, 2, 3, 4, forward, 2, 3, something reverse, 2, 3, 4 and spin, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and polka, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and back to the start. Forwards, reverse, forwards, reverse, and spin. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and waltz. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and back to the start.
Obviously we're here to support a cause for a country, which is independence for this amazing country that we all live in. For far too long, this country has suffered at the hands of Westminster. For far too long, we have stood back and we've just accepted the narrative coming from that Parliament in London. It's time the people of this country stood up and said, we have had enough of this nonsense. And it's time this country stood as one and said to Westminster, we are having no more. The potential that this country has, the potential our people have, is frightening. If we were only given the chance to be a people as we are, rather than being told and ruled with 500 miles from our own border, is an absolute disgrace. So everybody, thank you very much for coming here today. We're bringing the movement over to the islands, obviously, because obviously I'm from the Central Belt myself. We want to bring this over to other parts of our nation so that other people aren't left out, because we know that other people across the length and breadth of this country are supporters of our cause. The only path for Scotland is independence. There is no other choice for this country. We must move forward, or else we are heading for absolute oblivion with the way the status quo is today. So everybody, from myself and all the team, I could not have done this without all of my supporters, especially Agnes, the Indie Cafe team, and everybody else, Indie Live Radio, my friend James as well. Everybody has absolutely done their utmost for this to happen today, and I cannot thank them enough. Thank you very much indeed.
And thanks very much to Chris for the invitation to say a few words. But I'm very, very pleased to be asked to come up and make the point that people like Chris and all of the team around him deserve as much support as possible for putting the time and the effort into getting this event organised. And it's not always about who's here. It's great that you're all here, but it's also about the impact you have on social media. It's also about going on to the social media, and there are hundreds and sometimes thousands that are following events like this who can't always physically make it, but the fact that it's been organised is important because it keeps the cause of independence on the agenda, and that's what's important to us all. Same with Sean here, him and his team, and all under one banner. What a brilliant job they do in keeping the cause of independence on the agenda. And that's why 5th September in Edinburgh is so important. It's also why 12th of September in Coatbridge is so important, because I represent Hope Over Fear. And Hope Over Fear has tried since 2014. Our first big public event in Glasgow was October 2014, because we were depressed, we were down, we just lost an opportunity to grasp the thistle and determine our own future. We'd lost an opportunity to write a new chapter in the history of Scotland, a chapter that would have been about improving the quality of life for all of our citizens. A chapter that would have been about using the vast wealth and resources of Scotland for the millions in Scotland, not the millionaires. That was an opportunity, sadly, that we lost. But brothers and sisters, never ever forget that when Mr. Cameron, after the fantastic election victory organised by Alex Salmond, the best First Minister that Scotland has ever had, when Mr. Cameron in 2013 agreed to a referendum, let's remember that he only agreed to it because support for independence at that time was around 27%. The reason they gave us a referendum is they thought we had no chance of winning.
That's right.
And what Scotland did, what Salmond did, what everybody here did, is we took that 27% and against the wrath and the might of the British establishment. Remember, they got the banks involved. They got the President of America involved. They got the President of China involved. They got the Russian President involved. They got everybody involved to tell us to vote against independence. They got the shipyards to put letters out to all the workers saying, if you vote for independence, there'll be no more shipyards.
Scottish Widows did it as
They
well.
got the B&Q and ASDA to say, if you vote for independence, we might have to leave Scotland. The worst of all was when they got their Project Fear activists to contact the pensioners across Scotland and tell them, oh, if you vote for independence, you'll lose your pension. You'll lose your pension. Brothers and sisters, never ever forget the resources that they put in to that referendum campaign, and they spread fear. They spread fear. And yet, and yet, we managed We managed to go, brothers and sisters, let's remember, we managed to go for 27% to a week before the referendum, where the secret polls had us at 50+%. I hope there are no children here that are delicate, because I have to say what happened is the British establishment shut themselves. That's what they did. They pulled in all of the captains of industry, they pulled in all the bankers, they pulled in all the industrialists, and they had the media. They had the media on a drip roast, spreading all of the fear. And then they produced the vow. Do you remember the vow? Remember Mr. Brown and the Daily Record trying to buy people off? Things will be different. You'll get a lot more power. If you vote for independence, you'll lose your pensions. If you vote for independence, you can't be in the European Union. If you vote for independence, they'll close down the oil refinery, they'll shut the shipyards. Brothers and sisters, we have to celebrate that despite all of that fear, despite it, we went from 27% to 45%. We came within a whisker. We came within a whisker, brothers and sisters. And some people will say, but Tommy, that was 12 years ago. Yes, it was 12 years ago. But don't allow people to take away the sense of achievement in what we did. We transformed Scotland. We transformed Scotland. I remember on the night of the referendum, I was very pleased because I'd been out all day in Glasgow and I was convinced we were going to win. I was convinced. Why? Because everybody in Glasgow seemed to be voting for independence. And of course the truth is, you can cut me a wee bit of slack for thinking that we were going to win. Because Glasgow voted yes. So did Dundee, so did North Lanarkshire. And let's remember North Ayrshire as well. Brothers and sisters, that night I was invited into the Heart of the Beast in the BBC. And I sat there with bomber John Reid, former communist turned war activist. I sat there with Joan Lamont, at the time leader of the Scottish branch of the British Labour Party, and they had big smiles on their faces. They said on the programme that they had won. They had won. Go back and check it if you like, but I said to them, when they came to me, I said, they're smiling just now, but they won't be smiling for long, because what they've won is a Pyrrhic victory. A Pyrrhic victory. I says, go and look at Greek mythology, go and look at the history of Greek war, and you'll learn about the general who won a war. But in the course of winning the war, he exhausted all of his troops, he exhausted all of his resources, and although he won that particular battle, he ended up losing the whole war. So he wins a battle but loses the war. And what happened with the British establishment, particularly the Scottish branch of the British establishment? They may have won that battle, but they lost the war for the hearts and the minds of the people of Scotland, particularly the young people of Scotland. Who would have thought, 62 years of age I am, who would have thought, as I was getting raised in the west of Glasgow, who would have thought that within 9 months of that result at that referendum, that the Labour Party, the Labour Party in Scotland, where you used to weigh the votes. You didn't need to count them. You weighed them because the Labour won everything. Who would have thought that within such a short period of time, at the 2015 May election, the Labour Party were reduced to one seat. One seat out of 59. One seat. That's what I mean, brothers and sisters, about the Pyrrhic victory. They were all smiles. They were wrapping themselves in their butcher's apron. But what they had done is they united with the Unionists to do down Scotland. They were in effect telling us that we're no good enough, that we're no big enough, we're no smart enough. They were telling us that we couldn't run our own affairs. And that has come back to haunt them. The Labour Party as a force in Scotland is finished. It's finished. I was asked the weekend there, I was asked on Go Radio on a Bernard Ponsonby Politics show to comment on the ongoing election for the new, yet again, another leader of the Scottish branch of the British Labour Party. And I was asked to comment, and Bernard says to me, setting aside for a moment the question of independence, what do you think of the candidates, Tommy? And I says, I'm sorry, Bernard, I can't accept your question and the narrative, because you can't set aside the question of independence. Independence now runs right through Scottish politics. It is the issue, the determinant of support or not within Scotland. And the only way the Labour Party in Scotland will ever recover, is if it has the courage to say, we're now for independence. We're now for independence. Our independence is going to be different from the others because we're going to go for public ownership. We're going to go for the oil and the gas and the electricity to be owned publicly. In other words, we're going to go for a socialist version of independence. If they did that, they may recover. They may get some people back, depending on who is running the show. But see if they don't. See if they're not prepared to support Scottish independence. The truth is, they will never, ever recover. That's just a fact of political life in Scotland. What that referendum did, brothers and sisters, is it changed the political terrain in Scotland forever. Yeah. We now have a remarkable situation. If you look around me here, I can see some of the scars of many, many years of campaigning from some of you who have been in and around the movement for a long time, and most of you who have been there for a long time, you will remember being a supporter of the SNP and independence when support for the SNP was higher than the support for independence. You'll remember that. That's right. Now it's transformed. Yep. Now support for independence outstrips support for the SNP. Yep. Yep. In other words, no political party can claim ownership of the independence movement, can claim ownership of the independence cause, because the cause is bigger than any one party or any one individual. We have to be clear about that. We have to be clear. I remember at the referendum telling people, and you need to bear this in mind, when people would say to me, oh, Tommy, I don't like this or that politician, I'm not voting independence because I don't like the SNP. And I used to say to them, independence isn't about the SNP. Independence is the equivalent of you looking for a new house. And the estate agent contacts you and says, I've got it. It's got 3 bedrooms. It's got a lovely garden. It's got a really nice spot and you go and look at it, and you think, oh, this is my dream house, but the decoration's stinking. The wallpaper is garbage. What would you do in that situation? Would you say, I'm not going to take my dream house because I don't like the wallpaper? Or are you going to say, I'm going to take my dream house and then I'll change the wallpaper? That's what the essence of the independence cause is all about. Forget who are the current politicians. Forget who are the current political parties. Think about what is possible in the future. That's what we have to do, brothers and sisters. We have to always have our eye on the bigger prize rather than getting embroiled in the personality arguments and debates. I want to finish my remarks. I've spoke far too long already. I apologise, Chris. You'd probably regret inviting me to say a few words. I'm going to say this to you guys, and you know, some of this might be controversial, but I'm going to say this to you. I look here at these saltires, and I'm very, very proud. I'm very, very proud of that flag. Do you know what? I'm also very, very angry. Because see, when we were walking past some people down at I think it was the bowling green or the entertainment centre, I could see some people looking, and they had worry in their faces. And you know why I think they had worry in their faces? Because I think they were worried that this was a racist march. Because you know what angers me? What angers me is those in the extreme right now who have tried to hijack our flag for their cause. This flag here stands for equality, stands for fairness, stands for the redistribution of wealth and power on behalf of all of us. That flag does not represent hate and division and making scapegoats. We've got lots of problems in Scotland. Poverty, low pay, public services that aren't funded properly. We've got lots of problems. But brothers and sisters, we have got 0.12%, 6,500 people are asylum seekers. If you think that our problems are because of 0.12% of the population, you're off your head. You're off your head. Oh, you're just a racist who wants to blame somebody whose colour of skin is different for yours. And I'm not having it. I'm not having that flag hijacked by these racist individuals who say, oh, we're not racist, but you are racist. If you act like a racist, and you salute like a racist, and you chant like a racist, it's probably because you're a racist. So brothers and sisters, please, send our solidarity here today to the brothers and sisters in Falkirk who are there marching against racism in Falkirk. Send our solidarity to those across the whole of Scotland who, when we get people chanting about send them home and stop the boats, we say our Scotland, our country, has always had immigration. It's a country of immigrants. The great author William Machiavelli, he used to write and say that we in Scotland were a mongrel nation, because we're made up from different people from across the world. Our only reason to oppose anyone coming to this country is if they're coming with the intentions of the Jim Ratcliffes of the world, the billionaires that are coming to close down Ineos and the oil refinery with thousands of jobs lost. The only way this flag here should be used to march against minorities is to march against the minorities of billionaires who are refusing to pay their taxes and closing down our resources. Don't ever allow it, brothers and sisters. Don't ever allow this flag to be tarnished in any way, shape or form by association with these racists. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to finish by thanking you again for supporting the Sail for Freedom project. I hope it becomes an annual event and I hope it becomes bigger and bigger. I ask you to go to Edinburgh and support All Under One Banner on the 5th. I ask you to go to Coatbridge and support the Hope Over Fear rally in Coatbridge. Brothers and sisters, let's say it loud and let's say it clear. We're never giving up. We're never giving in. Because one day, Scotland will be free. Thank you very much.
As a resident of Arran, a lifetime independence supporter, I'd like to welcome you all to Arran, an independence voting island, an island with 3 ferries, although you might not understand that if you watch the media, an island with 2 distilleries, 1 brewery, a chocolate factory, and no shops, because we don't need shops after all that anyway. I'd like to thank Chris for bringing everybody here. He told me about all the sleepless nights, the stress, and everything else that happened to him. That's his words, it's not the committee's words, but anyway. This is the second Sail for Independence, or sail, and it'll be the first of many. Next year or the year after, we'll fill this park, and there's a hill at the back there, which will come next.
Yes, that's good, thank you.
Please enjoy each other's company, renew old friends, and make new friends. I think we've all enjoyed the music, and certainly we've enjoyed the speakers. Unlike many events, we actually have a thread that goes through the whole company here. A thread that's common and it's independence, and the thread is now hundreds of miles long. It goes down to the north of Ireland, it goes over to Wales, and all the people, the Celtic connections are coming together. And if anything maybe helps independence, that might be one of the things it does. Westminster is made up of 4 countries, and 3 of them want independence. So is there a democratic vote in this? That 3 vote against 1 and it happens? Or does 1 overrule the 3? I just think Arran's a great place to come to. You can't go wrong. They'll tell you all the guff about the ferries. The BBC will tell you the ferries don't run, as if there's no global warming. The last 6 years we've had more storms than Arran and anything before. So sometimes the ferries, we've got 6 ferries, either here or in order. More ferries, they'll be coming out of here soon. And they're beautiful ferries, absolutely phenomenal. And if Ardrossan Harbour had been sold as it should have been 10 years ago, then all the ferries would have gone into Ardrossan Harbour. That's what would have happened. But privatising Ardrossan Harbour to Peel ports screwed up the whole thing. Correct. So, once again, thanks everybody here. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure with Chris, and thank him really for the bottom of our heart here. It's been an absolute joy to be here this afternoon. Thank you.
Right guys, thank you very much. Thanks David. Thank you very much.
All right girls, come on, smile.